On your feet, soldier. You took a pretty heavy hit there. You got your bells rung badly by that blast from the Moon Rebels. Don't worry, we can get you back up to speed. Here, listen to this. It's from the Records on Earth. That time we woke up in a podcast and had to explain manga, our heated adventures, overanalyzing manga we find interesting. It's one of their Christmas episodes. It has to do with the adventures of Father Klaus in his battles against the Witch of Winter and the Pola Cola Corporation. It's not everything, but it should get you up to speed. Here they come again. I gotta get back on the front lines. You listen to the episode for the Moon Men! Ho 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 everyone, and welcome back to the Overmanga Cast. My name is Sam. Normally at this point in the show we would talk about our familiarity with the franchise that we read this week, but I doubt any of us have consumed more Klaus since this time last year. Does anyone want to contradict me on this?
Nope.
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 Well, alrighty then. If you want to know what we know about Klaus, go listen to last year's episode. It's a lot of fun. As for this year, I figure we'll dive right into it, and I gotta say, when I started reading our, prescribed segment this time, I was very confused, because for as wild and wacky as the first bit of Klaus we read was, it was very structured. It was a hero's journey.
It started at the beginning, and then told a story, and then it ended. This one doesn't do that.
You've heard of in medias res. Get ready for in saga race.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
This start is very reboot of Doctor Who, to the point I'm almost thinking it might have been explicitly referencing that, because it's almost the same story. Dude comes out of nowhere, crashing out of the sky, and says "Phew, I just got back from the Civil War up on the moon. You wouldn't believe what was going on in that crazy moon war."
Sure was crazy. I was wrapped up in these moon chains, but now the warmth of the earth has melted them.
Precious moon platinum, as if that will mean anything to literally anyone.
I'm just saying, she could be going down on the moon. That's what's up.
Apparently.
I want to know what's going on with the moon, because that is...
I do too!
Klaus, you can't just tease me with a moon men and their moon war, and then just it's a long story me with it.
Klaus has learned that the moon men should be left alone with their moon war. That is not a place for outside forces.
I don't know how much of this is Grant Morrison falling into habit, and how much of this is Grant Morrison making fun of his own industry, like poking loving fun at his own industry. But it really does feel like, holy crap, did I come in issue 87?
It's just weird that I feel that if we're just looking at planetarily, if literally we make references to Martians, Mars, other planets or whatever, but it doesn't have the same gravity of just saying, I'm from the moon, the Earth moon. But the Earth moon just seems more, I don't know, captures a different type of, it's a different vibe entirely.
We've been there. That's a place you can go.
Yeah. I don't know. Something about this average Joe dressed as Santa going to go deliver presents to his kids on Christmas Eve, only to find their bedroom in tatters, the kids missing and the window flung open, him dealing with this holiday drama, only to have your boy Klaus show up and say, Jacked Santa show up and say, yeah, just got back from being imprisoned in the core of the moon during the Moon Men's Civil War. It's got the same energy as, this is where I watched my parents die, Raphael. Calla bummer.
Well, yeah, but that's the exact same tone of the first Klaus was, man, what if we did a gritty superhero backstory for Santa? This is the exact same thing. It's the nonsense you get in, anytime you read Superman, where he just has to reference, oh yes, in issue 67, I did fight the Kryptonians. But don't worry, I am only immune to kryptonite when it's a Tuesday or whatever. It drips of superhero nonsense, which is made comedic by the fact it's Santa.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I say I'm not 100% sure if this is just Grant Morrison habits or if he's lovingly poking fun at the industry. Because the thing that I really like about it is also that they actually do kind of give a little bit of exposition as in this is the first one after the last one you read. Because I do like the little bit of like not jokey but actual world building where Klaus is like, yeah, I used to deliver all the presents manually, and then I got a bunch of helpers, and then I pawned it off to the parents. He puts it more nicely than that, but that's basically how it plays out.
My favorite thing about this scene too is as he's like, yeah, I eventually got bored of that and pawned it off to the parents. Population got too big. And then Santa cracks open a beer that he didn't stop anywhere in this house. He either took the beer from the fridge or was just bringing a beer with him to go investigate these missing children.
You know what?
I mean,
I believe it.
You don't have a road beer when you're investigating missing children?
Oh my god, Jack Santa just runs with road beers. He totally does.
It's not even gotten weird yet, guys.
Nope. Just having a good night, and then randomly, Santa just pops in and pops a road beer.
He cracks open a cold one.
You don't know what it's like on the moon.
The very terrified dad cracks a baseball bat over Klaus's head. It is not very effective.
Yeah, turns out, you can't just knock out Daddy Santa.
You can't.
Santa Daddy.
Santa Daddy.
God damn it.
I'm not sorry.
Dear beloved listeners, can you tell that this comic is a little scattered and has left us a bit scatterbrained?
We get caught up with, yes, this is the same Klaus. It's the same continuity, except it's modern day now. Deal with it. We're moving on.
Cut to children lost in the darkness.
Yeah, they're in a closet somewhere, I think.
Not quite a closet. They're out actually like wake up like in a dark toy factory, like in some corner somewhere.
They wander out into this factory floor where wooden men are coming to life and everything is freezing cold.
The thing of nightmares. Yeah.
Yeah, freezing cold is a thing of nightmares.
I don't know. I liked that part.
Excuse me?
Well, I hope the children don't get hypothermia and die, but cold is nice.
Well, conveniently, they're wearing full winter outfits. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is even weirder because they were snatched from their rooms, right?
They're in bed. Yes.
Look, this is not the biggest inconsistency in this comic.
Someone woke these kids up or like forcefully changed them into winter gear.
That's believable. Like, oh no, someone made a kid wear a jacket before they took them somewhere. That's wow. But unfortunately, as they're exploring, do we get names for these kids?
Yes, Ben and Naomi.
Yeah, so Ben and Naomi are wandering, and the wooden men on the conveyor belt begin rising up, and they're like, oh no, we messed up. And we get a cool villain shot silhouette, but we don't see who it is. And then we cut to Santa flying over to my favorite line in all of Klaus, where just expositioning off into the night sky, he's just like, Lily, this was our first workshop. Ruined and abandoned in the battle with the Pola Cola Corp. See that flash of light? And like, they just drop a sentence in there. This is like, oh yeah, Santa built his workshop and then lost it in a war with a Pola Cola Corporation. I saved this frame and I'm like, I need to know when that comic's coming out. Little did I know it was the second half of our reading.
Stay tuned, listeners.
But yeah, Klaus got even cooler because his sleigh is not drawn by reindeer. It's drawn by big doggos!
Yes, his sleigh is drawn by wolves.
It's so cute and so cool. I love it.
And then they all explode.
Exactly. This is why. No comment.
Yeah, they get shot out of the sky by a cannonball.
I'm pretty sure only Lily's immortal.
Yes, only Lily is immortal. And do we ever does it ever get explained why?
She
it got explained.
there
Winter
during the-
spirits, I think. I think the
Yeah.
winter spirits that gave Klaus's powers gave Lily powers too.
Yeah, I think
Those
so.
aliens that shoved the concept of joy into his heart. That
Oh yeah.
Well,
Were they
there are
aliens?
three.
I thought they were just earth spirits.
Well,
I don't
they're,
know.
they're pretty definitively aliens after this one. So.
I was gonna say they were pretty definitively Earth spirits in the first one. It gets to some weird cosmic by the end of this. So
you said pretty definitively. They didn't look They didn't look earthly, but they were like jellyfish things, right?
Jellyfish are
like
earthly.
They were weird.
Maybe they're sealy. I don't know. Maybe they're underworldly. I don't know.
Well, I mean, being from the Feywild isn't being from Earth, but whatever.
Is it? Are you saying Fey are not Earthlings anymore? I think they have a bone for pick for that.
Yes.
Nope, they're otherworldly by definition.
But still on Earth. Whatever.
Whatever.
Anyway, Klaus and Lily climb their way out of the burning wreckage of the sleigh and are attacked by a horde of icemen that they bravely do battle with.
Klaus rips a burning tree out of the ground and baseball swipes the entire army.
That is my favorite page turn in this entire read, because it's the army closing in over like 3 panels. Page turn, Klaus mid-swing with a tree, clobbering all of them.
Clobbering time.
If I had a complaint about this, it would be that's not one of the cases. It's usually a situation with dialogue, but there are a couple of cases where page turns, I feel like a page is missing or something, because they'll be talking about one thing and then the conversation will change between the page turn. But yeah, that's a fun moment because Santa Claus has that super strength, of course. Everybody knows that.
But after breaking the ice gremlin army, he discovers that they are in fact wooden puppets. But there's something familiar about them. It would be impossible, but only one man could have carved these figures.
And then he gets a net.
No, my favorite line. He's talking to himself about how only one man could have carved these, but that would be impossible. I know what you're thinking, Lily. When has being impossible ever stopped something from happening to us? Thank you, Klaus. Thank you for just taking that whole lampshade and putting it over the entire volume.
Yeah.
I love how the net, he's just like, oh no, it's sucking my strength somehow. And I have a vague idea from reading this why the net sucked his strength. I'm not 100% sure, actually.
It sucked his strength because the plot needed him to go to the dungeon so he could
save the children.
Save the children, save the world.
Interspersed with this, we get cuts back to the kids. I will say that the kids were actually pretty well characterized for how little panel time they have. You know, it's nothing groundbreaking, but they're solid kid characters.
It was very 30-minute Christmas special level of characterization. Like, you get an idea of who they are, and they don't take up more space, so you can get Santa beating people up.
Yeah. They don't take up more space than they need to.
They're not the deepest characters in the world, but they also don't need to be. They're endearing children characters. Naomi, as the older sibling, is a little better because we didn't mention this, but their mother died the year before, so this is the first Christmas without her. And Ben, the younger sibling, still has hope and innocence in his heart.
A little more starry-eyed.
So you can already see where this is going. As they are dragged before the snowflake throne of the Ice Witch and her minion, her vizier, Spoonlicker.
I looked this up. I was confused. I was
confused too. What is he licking off the spoon? Because it looks like nuclear waste.
The remnants of stew.
Stew looks like that. It looks like freaking like snot or something.
I actually do know about the Yule lads, so I was not as put off by Spoonlicker as my co-hosts clearly were.
I'm completely fine with the Yule lads, and Jay, I do not appreciate you bringing them up to detract from the fact that I personally had to deal with when this panel came up, a message from Sam that just said "mommy."
Yeah. We'll address that later, but yes. Sam,
we'll address that right now.
That was very poorly timed, Sam.
Look, I saw the Snow Witch and I just, mommy.
Do you regret your decision?
No.
Yeah, I don't know why you expected shame.
Jay, you know I commit.
Aw, that's so admirable.
Anyway,
To the bit. Yes.
Spoon Licker, he's the minion of the Witch of Winter.
As is Sam.
He's there to chew the scenery and be evil.
God, he chews that scenery like he licks them spoons. He is the hammiest villain I've seen in a bit, in a hot minute.
And exactly what this comic needs. Because when we cut back to Klaus, we cut in on a rather dark scene.
Yeah, we do, because
it is a man who is blinking awake 90 degrees on the floor to a man standing on a stool and jumping off to hang himself. Klaus jumps to his feet, holds the man up, and is just like, oh, my old apprentice, it's been years. I recognized your work out there. Page turn. Geppetto!
It's Geppetto!
God damn it, Klaus, stop it!
Geppetto, can it be you? This is so stupid, but I love it.
This would be the equivalent of just Batman in just a Batman comic. He's just rocking around, just like, wait a second, are you Sherlock Holmes, the world's greatest detective? My word, are you the Batman, the world's greatest detective? Bar me? Oh my, we're such good friends.
It really is, but I kind of love it for that.
I mean, Klaus is already enough of a Batman XP, to be fair.
He's Superman now, but
yeah, he's Superman and Batman by the end of this.
It's great because Geppetto is like, Father Klaus, you should have just let me die. Geppetto, you should know that I'm Santa Claus, so that's not how I operate. No, you don't understand.
Gosh, Sora, you should have just let me die.
The important bit is that Geppetto had been making an army for the Witch of Winter.
I think the important bit is that he's replaced all of his body except for his head and heart with the same magical wood carvings that the army is made out of. So he is basically a cyborg.
He has to stay in the winter wonderland, otherwise the ship of Theseus problem just infects his mind, turning him into a monster.
He starts melting away, yeah.
Klaus escapes their cell off page. They just kind of walk out.
Yeah, Klaus isn't in a cell, though. I think what happened was Geppetto set him free and then was going to kill himself out of atonement. But if you see when he's with Geppetto, they're not in a cell. I think he was being dragged out. Just trying to give this as much benefit of the doubt as possible.
Which fair, yeah. Geppetto is giving all this exposition when Spoon Licker arrives in his spoon-mobile.
Well, it's a shoe!
It's his shoe-mobile.
Oh, that's right, it is a shoe.
I love the fact that we get confirmed that how Spoon Licker got convinced to, betray Santa, the guy the Yule lads used to work for, was the Witch of Winter promised him all the spoons he could lick. I'm like, that doesn't... That's it?
He's very cheap, but he knows what he wants.
And I'm licking spoons!
A promotion, a car.
Spoons.
All the spoons I could lick.
Damn right.
If you, dear listener, haven't done the research and thought the Yule lads were just made up, they're folk tales from, I forget where, but Northern European folklore, and like a lot of the stuff going on.
I only know about them because they're the main antagonist of the Christmas special of the Sabrina Netflix series. Anyway, Geppetto becomes old when exposed to flame.
Yes. Yes, because only his head and his heart are still organic, preserved by the magic of the Winter Witch. So when he is heated up, he begins to melt away.
Like a candle.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just like, I understand the heat and the wood aspects of it, but why specifically, are his organic parts being aged through heat?
It's the same logic as Cold Air, the Lovecraft story.
Yeah. It really, oh my god, it is. You're right.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of when the heat being a problem for Geppetto brought up. This is just cold air.
I have stymied off death for so long. I should be but putrefacted liquid. Yet if I keep myself cold enough, then the Reaper, he cannot find me.
Klaus is taken to the Witch of Winter in chains.
The Hall of Santas.
Through the Hall of Buff Santas.
The Hall of Santas, one of which I'm pretty sure that's just Gandalf.
One of them is just a dinosaur.
Yeah, one of them is a dinosaur, one of them is Gandalf, one is straight up the ghost of Christmas Present from
A Christmas Story, or Carol, yeah.
You mean the Ghost of Christmas Past? With the wide open robe? That's Brian Blessed if he was a buff dude, like... Father Christmas!
Wait, was it Past that was the big buff guy? I thought that was Present.
No.
Because Future is just the Grim Reaper.
Yes.
Hold on.
Pat.
No one remembers Present.
It's the big jolly guy that takes him to go see Tiny Tim.
Yeah, Past is the little candle. That's right. Yeah. And then Brian Blessed's like, hey, you're missing out on some cool ass parties, you old bitch.
Anyway, now that we've got our Dickens lore straight.
Oh man, is there a manga of A Christmas Carol?
I hope so. We should find it. Listeners, if you know, send us an email over mangacast@gmail.com.
Back with this Christmas-themed fever dream, Klaus is told to kneel before the Witch of Winter, at which point he just breaks the chains because he is...
I kneel to no power!
He's just Superman and Batman now, but Christmas-themed. And I love it. I like that sounds like derision. It's not. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But don't worry, because this is a Superman story. It's not about, can I beat up this witch? It's, oh no, this witch has a hostage, but it's a little girl who is spurned on the magic of Christmas. Because Naomi has fallen into the witch's clutches.
She's been mind controlled, and a child losing faith in the spirit of Christmas saps Klaus of his powers, I guess.
Super cliche. I mean, that's like child stories in Memorial. It's just like, you no longer believe in me. I'm dying.
Your lack of love is what killed me, you bitch. That's at least how I think the never-ending story ends.
For the record, it doesn't, but whatever.
If you listen to the title, it actually never ends.
Yeah. Shut up. I love Neverending Story. Fight me.
It is pretty great, but that's not
I
what we're
It
talking
is
about right now.
notoriously without end, Sam, so I think it's super different.
Yes. Don't read the book. Watch the movie.
One of the things that I do really like is that the Witch of Winter basically never talks. She's either got Spoonlicker just chewing the scenery, being a little goblin, or making Naomi rant cold-hearted.
Is she ranting? I thought she was just literally choosing like the most poignant points to just say, I hate you because my mom died and I'm just told to get over it and I don't want to get over it. And also, I chose not to believe in Santa because it's just my dad.
It's kind of ranty. You're right. Maybe I could have picked a better verb there, but she is spitting vitriol at Santa because her heart has been hardened by better emotions.
She's spitting daggers of ice right at the heart.
Yep.
Almost literally. Spoonlicker, because he's just a villain now. I say now. He was always... We were introduced to him like this. He's going over to gloat over Klaus as the wooden marionettes beat him up. And it's Lily to the rescue!
Lily's
Big doggo!
Yeah.
But in the act of leaping to the rescue, the Witch of Winter drives the frozen spike that she was going to put in Klaus's heart into Lily, turning the dog into... It's a real Game of Thrones moment. This is one of the few things I know about the later seasons where one of the dragons gets murked and made an ice zombie. Lily gets murked and becomes a frost minion. But
only for about a page, because
for
apparently...
like a page and a half.
Because also, like the later seasons of Game of Thrones, you can just sing a nice story and it makes the ending whatever you want it to be.
I think Lily has some husky in her because she sings the mind control away.
Yes.
Sure, that's the other way around.
My favorite part is that Klaus starts singing the song while simultaneously doing an I know you're in there somewhere speech. He is singing and monologuing.
Yes, because this is a Western comic.
My man is multi-talented.
He
Table
sure
milk.
is. But
like many things, this doesn't really amount to much. It's just cool.
well, it fills up page time for Geppetto, awoken once more to justice and courage, and the rest of the Yule lads to show up, rally to save Klaus.
Geppetto decided to lead the way by holding the torch, symbolizing that he no longer cared about the gifts the witch had given him. But also, there was no reason to hold the torch. It's not particularly dark in here. I guess it was heat protecting them from the enemies, but it also just kills him next page. So I guess you saved him from killing him. You saved him from killing himself, saying he shouldn't do that. For him then to kill himself.
It's dramatic.
To once again give the comic the benefit of the doubt. To me, that reads like Geppetto had prolonged his life. Like, that isn't so much him committing suicide as him spending what's left of his life on something good. Because, I mean, like, again, it's sort of like the characterization of the kids. It's very basic, it's very tropey, but it does the job it sets out to do. The part that sort of weakens that angle is then Geppetto, with his dying breath, says, "Klaus, look out for the monster she made me create." What do you mean? Smash!
There is a line I really like where Ben is being rescued, and he goes, "Wait, you're the real Santa Claus? I thought Santa was fake. I thought my dad was Santa." It's just like, well, your dad's real, right? Seems like that answered your question for you. What?
Yeah, that kind of like, I feel like he could have been honest, like, yeah, he's Santa by proxy, because doesn't he get his gifts like delivered directly to the children?
I think what this Santa is legitimately saying is it's like, nah, man, if your parents are giving you gifts for Christmas, that is the joy of the season. They are acting as Santa, so they are Santa. Like, yeah. Santa's real. Like,
your parents brought you the gift. That makes them Santa by proxy.
Which is pretty cute.
Yeah, but I feel like he should have opened with that, because I feel like this like did like some gymnastic moves in that poor young child's brain.
It's all for the poetic metaphors, which is all our boy cares about.
But yeah, with the final battle approaching, Klaus activates the buff Santa statues. The defense mechanism, because this is the thing that's happening now.
He draws the sword of creation and turns on the realm defense mechanism.
I like how I initially read this was I thought Santa had created these Santas as like toys to go out and do his job for him. But then what we find out in the second one is no, these were also just people who got Santa magic. Santa just has a bunch of duplicates of his friends in a closet that he can turn into war bots on a Switch. And I'm like, ooh, buff Santa. That's some Batman level, like, kill the Justice League nonsense.
Yeah, and you know what? It feels...
It's the Agamemnon contingency.
God, how long did you have that one saved?
Honestly, the last couple of seconds. You people are a bad influence on me. There's a big epic battle. What happens with that going on in the background, which sort of undercuts the next point I'm going to make, but I'm going to make it anyway. I'm not going to lie. The little heart-to-heart that Ben and Naomi have about, you know, deal with loss and grief and such, that touched a nerve.
Yeah,
I felt that.
It is simultaneously very heartfelt and very comedic, because it's Ben and Naomi and Klaus interjecting here and there to, you know, move things along, talking about, you know, loss and grief and moving on, and every now and again there's a panel of epic battle.
It really is a bizarre juxtaposition.
Just to let you know that Trans-Siberian Orchestra is still going hard in the background.
You're not wrong.
Ben is able to get Naomi to acknowledge her grief, that it's okay that she still misses her mother, and that, you know, it'll never go away, but it's about moving forward, not forgetting, and all that sappy stuff that got me. But we still have villains to defeat. So Spoonlicker tries to get in the way of this tender scene, and Klaus reveals that his power comes from 3 runes. joy, gift giving,
and fire.
And fire for some reason. I just have fire powers now. Deal with it. And everything lights the fuck on fire.
Excuse me, Jacob. If you knew the Santa lore, you'd know he comes down the chimney.
I like how his power coming from runes partially ties him back into the myth structure of Odin. Did Klaus hang for 7 days speared onto the Yule tree? A sacrifice to himself for knowledge?
Honestly, I'm surprised the origin story didn't do something like that. That's kind of the tone, isn't it?
He did die and come back with greater knowledge from the spirit world, so in a way, the metaphors are jumbled in this, and the symbology is a stew. But the fire emanates spoon liquor.
Klaus reveals that, again, very basic characterization, but I like that Naomi doesn't want to cause any harm to the Witch of Winter, despite, her being, the inciting incident and all. But Klaus reveals that she is actually the dual spirit of both spring and winter.
Yes, the blue lady and the green lady, I believe.
And apparently she was mad because global warming, which had been mentioned in passing for about half a sentence in the very beginning of the story and never again up to this point.
Where Klaus was like, man, has it always been this warm at Yule time? I know I've been on the moon for a bunch of decades, but...
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Global warming bad, make winter spirit evil, take over Santa's workshop.
Yeah, I think what my takeaway from this entire, the first part of our reading was the fact that it just kind of boiled down some of the action where you thought it was going to be some big dynamic, larger narrative. I know it was a large narrative, but it was just it all boiled down to global warming bad, and it made angry. So build army, angry kind of thing. And it's just okay, there's no, I guess it's a tried and true trope that I just feel has been overdone, I guess.
Yeah. It just kind of ends.
Some would say that the planet itself thinks global warming is a bit overdone.
I think the ultimate theme is supposed to be, the joy of Christmas time and remembering the good times.
It wasn't related to Christmas at all. It just happened to be, oh, yeah, it's getting really warm and it's supposed to be Christmas, and you're used to snow and everything, but it's warm, and it was less.
The global warming was an excuse for a villain who also just so happened to be thematically resonant with the actual heart of the story.
Yes, it wasn't necessarily a larger narrative of okay, this is something that is cataclysmic to, I can't frame it in a way that is actually whatever, but it just came off as really cliche, and I was really all gassed up for it to be something really dynamic and for her to voice her grievances that would be more than just, it's very hot.
It's hot and I don't like it. I like polar bears. Why do you hate polar bears?
Because they eat children. They literally hunt and eat human children because they have a high prey drive.
Human children?
Human children.
Yes, human children have a high prey drive. Look.
They do! Have you met them?
All I can say is
they do coat themselves in candy.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Really isn't indicative of a species that wants to prolong itself.
Oh, God.
There's a metaphor in there somewhere.
All I'm saying is the Witch of Winter did nothing wrong. New Ice Age when. Moving on to the next part of our reading.
You turned the thermostat up too high, and it makes me uncomfortable. So I'm going to do
I'm gonna do a villainy.
Sam, she did cut down an enchanted forest.
Yeah, they emphasized that multiple
an evil
times.
Army.
The entire enchanted forest, all of it, it's gone.
Okay, but nah, you know what? I don't even have a bit for that one.
Sometimes comic book villains can just be evil. They can be mad for reasons that are completely reasonable, but her whole deal was her winter persona was kind of a jerk, and that when like winter ends, she softens into spring, and then it's just like, yeah, that kind of sucks.
That's the first part of our reading, folks.
Did they actually solve anything though? Because he basically said,
Oh,
"Yeah, that's
yeah." They killed her.
Did they kill her? They just made
Yes.
her assume a different role. Like she evolved.
They killed her, but she
dies and
reborn.
comes back again.
Yeah, she comes back as the spirit of spring. So yeah, they just kind of kill her and like, yeah, don't do this again next year. Bye.
That was
There's-
very confusing. I'm just like, so wait, you're basically not. You're not changing anything. You're just saying that's very inconvenient, and I'm sorry.
No,
but
they
you can't-
killed her.
Just-
They killed her. That's what they did.
Just-
Now, as long as no one kills the spring woman to turn her back into the winter witch, we're fine.
Yeah.
Sam.
Why are you looking at me? Stop.
Sam.
Stop. Hey.
We know you like winter, mommy. So I'm just saying.
Audience, we gotta talk to Sam about some things. So how about we take a quick break and we'll be right back. Hopefully with all four of our hosts.
I don't need an intervention.
This is an intervention, Sam.
No. And welcome back to the show, folks. Where last we left our hero, we actually had a pretty neat bow tied on that story. Bow, it's a present joke. But thankfully, we did 2 parts of this segment of the story. Various one-shot. I'm not sure. Either way, we've got a new tale to talk about.
And boy, what a tale it is. Oh boy. Now we're getting to the weird one. This is the weird one, guys.
It's got my favorite character in maybe anything we've read.
Ooh.
Ever.
Mm.
I also like Lobo from Superman the Animated Series.
But yes, it is time for Klaus and the Crisis in Xmasville, where we start with an average American family on a road trip.
I think it's like July.
Yeah, it was something that was.
No, it's August.
Ah.
Yeah. It is August, and yet it is snowing. And they have found their way to a town not on the map. They found their way to Xmasville, where everyone is Santa.
It's just as weird and creepy as it sounds, and it plays it that way. It's really weird.
Billboards advertising Pola Cola and nothing else.
I gotta say, when I flipped to this page and I saw the Pola Cola billboards, I was like, oh yes, finally the Pola Cola Wars!
We have a narrator for this bit, and the family is very lost. No idea where they are or why it's snowing. The dad gets out and asks to borrow a telephone.
It's important that they are going to grandma's house for her birthday.
Yes, because it kind of draws off the trope of I'm visiting grandma or someone for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's just her birthday. It's in August.
He's able to get the phone call out, and it's at that point that the town of Santas decides to kidnap the family after he's already made contact with someone so that the plot can happen.
Well, they kidnapped him as well.
Yeah, I know. I love it because he goes into the gas station, borrows the phone, starts leaving a message for grandma, and it cuts to the view of like a security camera, and it's the Santas closing in on him. And next panel, the lights have gone off, and he's being grabbed and dragged away into the darkness. You'll make a fine Santa.
It looks like something out of a zombie movie.
You can join the others for basic training.
Yeah, what was with the Scottish accent randomly out of nowhere?
What was with anything in this?
I don't know why Dark Santa is the most red-blooded Scotsman to ever come out of the land of the Locks.
Is he supposed to be like the Highlander? Like, what's going on? I think so, actually.
I mean, he's Lobo. He's Lobo from the Superman comics.
See, that's where I'm left out.
He's literally like, he looks like Lobo. He has a motorcycle that looks like Lobo's motorcycle. He's literally just Lobo.
But he's extremely Scottish. Throughout a lot of it, you bastard.
It's so weird.
To be fair, Lobo does have a very famous Christmas special comic, so that could also be why it's just Lobo.
Yeah.
I believe he hunts Santa Claus, I think, if I remember correctly.
That sounds about right.
The rest of the family is taken by the zombie horde of Santas. You put that into work in the factory with the rest of the women. It is the children who will be after.
Creepy, but cool. I guess we're doing this now.
Well, he also says childer.
Yeah, childer.
It's the childer we're after.
He's either extremely Scottish or extremely German, or I don't know what he is.
I was confused by the use of the term childer just because it made me think of like people who produce children, so I thought he was just going after the mom at that point.
That's right. He's also a vampire, so we should be giving him a bad Transylvanian accent.
I'm just very confused. This scene, I know how short it is, you know, in universe, but it just perplexed me. There were just too many accents going on, and just I don't know.
I don't know. I think the German accent fits a little better because we then, at the end of this page, see a bunch of Santas goose stepping while he's in the shadows going, much, much, much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the thing that happens.
Very confusing. I think they were just trying to get across that he is somewhat foreign, I guess.
He's some kind of Eastern European fascist warlord. You know, a dime a dozen.
With a Scottish accent.
Jay, what happened was Grant Morrison got sent a letter saying the last villain with that global warming angle was too relatable and like really just complicated the spirit of the season. Can you just give us a negative villain? Like, oh, so you want a vampire Nazi? We can start there.
We then cut to Grandma.
Grandma shooting her festive flare gun because this is Team Fortress 2.
It's gonna get way more Team Fortress 2 in a bit, don't you worry. And Bat Klaus appears. This is probably the most Batman that Klaus has been this entire time, and that's a high bar.
Yeah, she shoots the flare, and she's like, they missed my birthday dinner, and they've never missed that before, so I knew something was wrong. You gave me this back. You gave me this in 1931. Said if I ever needed help, I should shoot it. But I never thought the promise would hold this long, Klaus. I always keep my promises, Kate.
No one's called me Kate since I was a little girl. It's just mom or grandma right now. Also, can we go back to the fact you gave me this gun in 1931 and I didn't need it the entirety of World War II? Nope, we're not going to talk about that? Okay.
No,
Look, maybe she was just a civilian.
Look, we've got a whole other war to get to besides the World War. So
this family is very Americana, so I wouldn't be surprised that a woman in the 30s on the home front, just in a factory or something, you don't need Santa for that.
Also, more importantly, I just realized in the panel where she's talking to Klaus about how she's just called mom or grandma right now, there's a small, like reasonably sized photo of her entire family, and then hung up on the wall as if it was a giant portrait is her as a little girl with Klaus.
Oh my god, I never noticed that. I didn't notice that one on my read through. It's right there.
You think it would come up more often that Grandma, whose man you were with right here? He's the one who gave me this gun.
That's why they're so dedicated to celebrating her birthday. They know she's in good with the big Kris Kringle. But yes, this is absolutely the most Batman that Klaus gets, particularly the title panel for this particular story, because it is him walking across the roof with his cape flaring out in the like jagged Batman way.
Grant Morrison, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just Batman, but colored red with a sword.
Yeah.
We cut away from Klaus going into his mission to meet with one of the Mann brothers from Team Fortress 2.
It's literally just Redmond Man.
It's just Redmond Man from Team Fortress 2 and his grandson, my favorite character, your boy, Millhouse Q for Quality Partridge.
Oh my god.
I don't know why, but him just saying his name was Millhouse Q for Quality Partridge made him my instant favorite.
I love Millhouse because he's a greedy corporate guy, but the entire time he's just like, yeah, and we're gonna make tons of money with Pola Cola Town. It's gonna be great. And then meanwhile, his grandpa's like, did I ever tell you our family were Nazis? Gramps, shut up. I'm trying to recontrise the band. We were much worse than Nazis, actually. I'm gonna continue telling us all the horrible shit we did. Gramps, please stop.
We collaborated with evil space aliens from the negative side of the universe.
And this is where you lost me, where he's just literally like, we're worse than, like, wow. Worse than Hitler.
We feed them children.
We're space weapons.
Look, I'm trying to revitalize the company here. I'm not here for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Can we get back on track? Like, he's literally saying stuff like that.
It's so good. He may be a scumbag businessman, but he is a scumbag businessman with standards.
Standards of, I'm not going to adhere to bullshit?
Standards like the Joker beating the shit out of Red Skull. I may be a criminal psychopath, but I'm an American criminal psychopath.
But yeah, this is where we get introduced properly to Lobo. I mean, Nega Santa, and we learn about and get some flashbacks to the war between Pola Cola Corp and Santa Claus over the legal rights to the existence of Christmas. I think
it was a trademark dispute about the image of Santa Claus that caused the Pola Cola Wars. I love this comic so much.
Super capitalism. I love it.
My father, Agamemnon Partridge III, and I fought him to a standstill. They're in Tall Boys, straight out of Dishonored. Like, come on.
Gramps, this is dumb. Let's just make money selling soda.
You telling me Santa Claus is real? Klaus is real, all right. The siege of Santa's workshop lasted 40 days and nights.
Where's that comic?
Just the insane ramblings of Redmond Man.
He's got strong #2 from Austin Powers vibes. He's just like, Dr. Evil, we could just make millions of dollars not doing supervillainy. What you're doing is actively less profitable. I want to do evil.
It gets weirder, by the way.
Wait, we trade kids, and it gets us complete corporate ownership of Christmas as a concept? You don't hurt the children, do you? That all depends on what you mean by harm. The brats are transformed by the process, and that I won't deny. In truth, it makes the little ones better adapted to the grown-up life. Follow me, I'll demonstrate.
No good explanation has ever started with, it depends what you mean by hurt.
Define harm.
And then we see the space worms.
Oh yes, the space worms.
They're just the Migo. This is the Cthulhu mythos. They're the Migo.
Klaus, upon seeing Nega Santa's rad motorcycle, sticks Lily on Nega Santa, only for him to catch her in midair and bite out her throat, draining of her lifeblood. Because in case it wasn't obvious, Nega Santa's a vampire.
Was not obvious. That was not obvious. I was like, wait, what?
He is a Nosferatu-ass vampire.
He's a vampire.
Okay, dear listeners, if you haven't watched the Castlevania anime on Netflix, you really should. But
have you been under a rock? I am judging you right now, listeners.
I can't remember her name, but you definitely know who I'm talking about when I say the big lady in the day armor.
Ooh, yes, I do know who you're talking about, Sam.
Nega Santa is her, but a dude with a giant... But Lobo.
Oh, God. Why?
And I believe it's at this point, whilst Klaus is getting beaten up by Totally Not Lobo, is the point where Redman explains the rest of his plan, where he's going to turn a bunch of people into Santa sleeper agent assassins that are going to be sent to malls across the world and then suddenly activate and start attacking people. And then the Pola Cola copyright Santa will defeat them, and everyone will fear the other Santas but love the Pola Cola Santa. Profit, I guess.
Activate Order 1225.
As if there weren't enough references in this already.
I like how Mega Santa does the whole pose of Bane breaking Batman over his bat like he's about to, and I'm like, didn't that happen in Klaus? I forget if Klaus got his back broken now that I'm saying that. I think something similar.
Yeah, I think something similar happened to him.
I honestly can't remember.
But yeah, he's actually yeeted down a cliff.
Much worse than that, he's yeeted out of the flying saucer they've been in this entire time.
We can't allow the Santa Claus to live. We made the mistake of not confirming the body back in 31.
Oh, Sam, you can't skip over your boy Milhouse's best line. It's like, ouch, did we just kill Santa Claus? I really didn't sign up for this, Gramps. I just want to make money. What?
This only gets weirder and weirder. He looks like Archie Andrews trading on Wall Street.
Oh my god, he does.
He's got some strong Jimmy Olsen vibes too.
Oh my god, he does, yeah.
Oh my god, he does.
Actually, wait, I just realized. Redman Man, because we don't actually get Gramps' real name. I can only assume he is Agamemnon the Fourth, but...
He does say his name.
I don't remember it.
It was like Orville something. I don't remember, but he does say
Orville Redenbacher.
Look, I like how Satan worshipping, humanity defying Gramps is totally team keep Christ in Christmas. Except he's playing on the other side, so he's like, we deliberately called it Xmas so that it can only be ours. I'm like, Gramps.
I don't. He says that we need to confirm the body. That was the mistake we made back in 31. 31, the same year that Klaus gave the flare gun to Kate.
I think it was 36 that the flare gun was.
No, it was 1931.
It was
both
31.
of them.
Oh, it was 31? Huh.
I can only assume that the Partridge family went and defeated Santa in a grand battle and assumed that he was dead because they didn't check for a corpse. And Kate dragged his battered form out of the rubble and nursed him back to health. And that was why he was forever in her debt.
Honestly, with this series, I'd buy it. Honestly, with this series, where's that comic? I'd read it.
Yes, Klaus has been yeeted out of the spaceship. Thankfully, there's another one for him to go to.
Snow Maiden, the assistant of Grandfather Frost, teleports to Klaus to bring him and Lily to just it's the Bat Cave. It's just the Bat Cave. Like, it's not even close. It's just the Bat Cave. There's literally a Batmobile.
Grandfather Frost's workshop.
It's the Bat Cave. Just call it the Bat Cave. Don't fight it. We get that the injury to Lily was a fake out death, which that was the only reason I was okay with that, because that was kind of obvious. That was gonna be the way that was going. Otherwise, I would have had words.
Me too.
I know. I also would be upset if he had to replace Lily like he has to replace all his other dogs.
We never see any of those bodies. Let me live in this denial, Matt.
Wait a minute. I just noticed something. I'm looking at the page with Grandfather Frost right now. That's Malonier.
Oh my god, he's Thor.
That is Malonier just sitting right there.
Yes, it is.
What is this with
I'd be more concerned about the half-dead posed Soviet Union automaton behind him, but we can focus on Mjolnir.
Yeah, USSR atomic robo. over there. God, I love Atomic Robo. Can we read Atomic Robo?
Maybe.
That'd be fun.
Next time on the Over Manga Cast, except not actually next time because we have plans. Wait a minute! Oh my god, it makes perfect sense that it's a Soviet Union robot because the only people who remember Grandfather Frost are Russian.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They do make that joke. This gives Klaus and Lily a chance to recover. Lily's a little bit too badly hurt to return to the battle, so Klaus and Snow Maiden go instead. Snow Maiden with the staff of Grandfather Frost.
Don't break it. It's my only one.
It's cold, smelted dream silver. The sky people only ever made one.
That is the most exalted shit I've ever heard.
The most exalted shit is what happens immediately afterwards, where, like, Father Winter or whatever shrinks himself down into a tiny person to go inside of Lily's mouth to heal her from the inside.
You're right. Yeah.
I will declare
right.
single combat on the virus within you. Fight me like a man.
Oh my god, is this literally just a Christmas themed Exalted campaign turned into a comic?
You know, honestly, I buy it.
No, because it's good.
You're objectively wrong.
Okay, Sam didn't like this.
Exalted is good. Just because you have bad taste doesn't mean it's not good.
Sam, as we said over the break, you have bad taste.
Look, we still have more crazy comic to get through.
Continue the personal attacks.
No, we have to finish the episode.
So there is an entire stormtrooper army of Santas.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Santa and
No Maiden. She is the granddaughter of Grandfather Frost.
Because Father Frost is currently on the moon dealing with that civil war that we still haven't seen.
Again, it be happening on the moon.
The moon is popping.
Yeah.
And it's just, we've had questions about who Nega Santa is, and Klaus as a audience insert, Snow Maiden just goes, well, who is he? And Klaus just goes my own dark reflection, my opposite from a world of opposites. I want him to see me.
He's my twin from the Upside Down world. Okay.
Witness me!
Okay, I don't know if this is just talking about the Jungian shadow or if this is just Bizarro World.
To answer your question, given all of the lore that I understand, that is to say none, from this Insane series, yes. The answer is yes.
It is both the Jungian shadow and Bizarro World.
Yes.
Amazing. Yep. Immaculate.
Well, so the army of the beast is led by him from the dark shadow of our moon, which is called the Black Moon, from which he holds a stone of space and time that gives him control over these men.
Uh-huh.
I too have played Elden Ring, but he turns into a vampire werewolf super beast form and launches himself at Klaus.
Yeah, we go back into the narration for this bit. Klaus is able to get the upper hand, but Nega Santa turns into werewolf.
Yep.
A vampire werewolf super monster.
That Grandfather Frost staff of winter that he has, that there's only one of that you shouldn't break. He proceeds to break it.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Jay, I have to ask your thoughts on this super vampire werewolf.
What do you mean, my thoughts on it? It's an abomination.
Okay, there you go. Thoughts received.
You know how I feel in general about lycanthrope. This just made it worse.
Yes, me, noted fan of werewolves, and Jay, noted fan of vampires. And nary the two shall meet. So when this happened, it needed to be destroyed.
Klaus equips the broken pieces of the staff to give him +1 attack and super effective damage against the werewolf.
Yes, because the staff was made of dream silver, so breaking it into a jagged stake, one might say.
As I understand, what then proceeds to happen is because he stabbed Evil Santa, that is loosening Evil Santa's power. And Santa had the power of the moon which allowed the ship to get so close to Earth because as it was happening, he was like lessening its gravity. He was making it light enough to like be close to Earth without being dragged in. The second he loses focus on that, the ship suddenly tilts to the left and crashes. Oh, and then Milhouse, my boy, as like the giant spaceship they had summoned starts crashing, goes like, see, this was really dumb. Just sign the company over to me. We'll make a bunch of money. It'll be okay. He's like, no, you dumb boy. You don't understand. I won't live to see another Xmas. Why do you think I told you all of this? You need to kill Santa. I just want to make money, Grips. No, my dying breath. Kill Santa. Kill Santa. Kill Santa.
You must be the inheritor of my will.
Bleh.
As he's coughing up blood into the ventilator.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's really weird.
Like, I can only laugh because it's comedic in how cheesy it is.
I love how these two characters just never meet Klaus.
Yeah. Like, my favorite bit, my absolute favorite bit, is after not Lobo, Super Vampire Werewolf is staked with a piece of Dream Silver, Klaus rolling like 15 successes on his feat of strength check lifts him over his head, and in the an exact mirror of the pose from earlier in this story, hurls not Lobo from the spaceship into darkness, while also simultaneously getting on his sleigh pulled by wolves, grabbing up all the children and all the innocents, and yelling, "On Dasher! On Dancer! On Donner! On Blitzen! Ho ho ho!" Riding out of the vortexing, swirling black hole of despair.
And then the narration says, and that's the end of the story. It goes on for another page or two, but that's pretty much it.
Xmasville by Charlotte Bright.
Yeah, the girl of one of those three kids that got kidnapped is writing the comic that is, I guess it's a book, actually. Nothing indicates to me that it's whatever. So she's doing a signing for her Christmas story, and at the like signing, someone comes up and is just like, "I have a gift for you. It belonged to your grandmother. It's yours if you ever need me again." And she's like, "Huh? Wait." Oh, and then just sees a gun and is like, "Oh, well, better run out in the street and say who got this." It's like, her name was Kate. And I'm like,
Yep.
That said entirely for the audience, because that was only the second time the name had ever been mentioned.
But like, it's not like the person said her grandma's name. So she doesn't.
Yeah, that was said entirely for the audience if you didn't pick up the subtext.
Her name was Kate.
Can I just say, the cover of Xmasville is an absolute banger, because it's this like negative space silhouette of Lily howling at the moon. There's the sleigh in the background. There is a like splash and a pool of blood, and like it's a banger cover. Like I want this to be real so I can put it on my bookshelf.
Yeah. It has a dog. It is therefore superior.
But with that brings us to the end of our reading this holiday season.
Yep. So, everyone, favorite character. I already said that my favorite character was Milhouse Q for Quality Partridge, simply because
he's Milhouse Q for Quality Partridge.
Yeah, like I am a fan of the straight men characters. You know, the guy who looks at all of the insanity happening around them and just goes, "What the fuck?"
You know, this is stupid, right?
Mm-hmm. And Milhouse just spends his entire time doing that. Well, and there's something so weirdly charming about him trying to do the very, very mundane evil of just being a corporate overlord, while this existential extraterrestrial evil is happening around him. He's like, can we just simplify this down to just being money-grubbing bastards? I just want to be a monopoly man, not a galactic overlord.
That is pretty great.
It's weirdly endearing.
He's just so done with all of the cosmic stuff.
Matt, how about you? Favorite character?
Similarly, Milhouse is pretty cool, but I gotta go with Grandpa Partridge. I love how he's got this meeting goes entirely off the rails because Grandpa just has like basically dementia war flashbacks to the Pola Cola War. And it's just like, did I ever tell you how much I hate Santa? I've always hated Santa. We sold children's souls to aliens to buy guns so we could kill Santa better. And I'm just like, what? He just goes further and further, and it never matters because he never interacts with Santa.
I know.
Yeah, and it just comes off as like he doesn't elaborate in any form or fashion, does he?
He can't. It's just like a rant of like, this is everything we did. Our family sins run too deep, boy. Don't you know? Those aliens, they don't just want the flesh. They want the jaw. They want imagination. They smoke it like a cigar.
Like, really?
That I think is a direct quote.
Yes. And literally his rebuttal is just like, how about we just not do that? Like, we don't have to.
I swear, I won't sign over this company to you unless you promise to kill Santa Claus with my dying breath. And I'm just like, so either you're not if you're dying right now, you're not signing it over to him. Like that's too late right now. And he clearly doesn't want to go along with your plan. So there's really no incentive.
Yeah.
But Grandpa Partridge is amazing.
Indeed he is. Jacob, how about you?
My favorite character is Lily, because Lily is a dog.
Statement.
All right, and Jay, your favorite character?
Well, for the sake of not tying with Jacob, I'll say Klaus, because Klaus is yes.
Klaus is pretty top tier.
All right, and our next question. Favorite between the 3 Klaus stories we have read so far?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. You know, it like I said at the start, these are very different beasts. I feel like the 2 that we've talked about tonight, they're their own category compared to the previous story that we did. All the same, I think the Pola Cola saga has to be my favorite.
Yeah.
Just because it's got everything I love. It's got angry Scotsmen. It's got werewolves. It's got Lovecraft aliens. It's got defying cosmic fate with the power of joy. It's perfect.
Yeah, I gotta side with you there, Sam. It is a concentrated mess of me never really knowing what's going on, but you're not supposed to. It's just a wild ride you buckle yourself into, and you're like, oh God, holding on for Santa fighting Nazis. Oh no, it's even worse. They're aliens.
No.
Exactly.
If you synthesize the plot down to that, yes, I think it really tracks the fact that you and Sam both like this, because it's the same reason that I couldn't get into, like, what was it? What was you read? Like 6 billion demons. The same reason. It was just too much. Too much.
Yeah,
Which is extremely based right now, by the way.
yeah. Klaus is doing the same thing, but comedically kind of making fun of that. It's just like,
because it's easy to make fun of, because that's not an enjoyable experience.
ah, yes, my old war friend, Richard Nixon. It's like that Kingdom Hearts level of comedy of just like, I'd go into battle with you anytime, Goofy. Well, Sora, it sure is great that we could fight the Heartless together. You should have let me die.
Jay, your favorite of the stories we've read so far?
No, just because. So we already know my first thoughts about the first part of our reading for today, which was I was all in because it was kind of hedging on the idea that it was going to be a larger scale war against something that would have been maybe more central to a certain ideology or something. And then it kind of boiled down and fizzled out to just being global warming, which, while crucial, my point is just that it's been overdone and it just feels kind of simplistic.
It's also not narratively satisfying to everything that had happened up to that point.
Yeah, so I guess I was gonna say like that would have been my top choice, but just because of the way that it kind of just left a sour taste in my mouth, I would have to go with our original reading, the first segment that we read last time.
That is fair. And Jacob.
So I kind of have two answers for this one. The one that I think is the one that I think is the best written of the three is the origin story, just because it is cohesive. But the one that is the most enjoyable, so strictly speaking, my favorite is going to be the madhouse that was the Pola Cola War story. It's hard to call it a good story, but it's very, very fun.
Indeed. Indeed. I think that is the best way to put it. So this particular segment of Klaus did
world building.
A lot to expand the lore? I'm putting verbal question marks on all of that. Mainly because, look, Grant, my homie, my G, I need to see this Lunar Civil War. Give it to me.
Take us to the moon. Please. We need to go to the moon.
Take me to the moon.
Completely skimmed over when it's referenced in Crisis of Xmasville, because Grandfather Frost is just like, we could ask Father Christmas and Santa Claus to help, but they've been on the moon fighting in the Moon War. They haven't come back yet. I wonder if something's wrong. And Santa's just like, well, I guess it's up to me. What's going on the moon?
I need to know what is happening on the moon in the Klaus-verse.
Evil Santa is from the Dark Moon.
Yeah, apparently, again, the moon is where all the stuff is happening. I guess also Earth, but I mean the moon.
The Klaus-verse moon has taken up an unhealthy amount of space in my brain for the past week.
Also, I want to skim over. We skimmed over why they made a deal with aliens and got into the trademark war with Santa was because they weren't just fighting for Earth. They were fighting for the intergalactic trademark on Christmas, which I don't know what that means.
It means that Christmas is an omniversal concept. And it must be controlled.
I'm glad we're all on the same page. We need to get to the fucking moon. We need to find out what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I need to know what is up with the moon.
I was gonna say that kind of answers the last question that we have. Would you continue reading this version of Santa's wacky adventures?
So long as it takes me to the moon.
I think there's one more, isn't there?
I want to say so. I don't know, but yeah. I have loved this. This is, if anything else, it is concentrated Christmas nonsense, and this time of year, hits so nice. Nice glass of eggnog, a nice warm fire, and a nice well-bound book of Klaus, top tier.
Phrasing.
I think I said this last year. I have added this to re-listening to Oxhorn's Christmas for Geeks as my holiday tradition.
Yeah, this is a perfect nerdy, fun Christmas time nonsense and great new tradition.
Indeed. And thank you so much, everybody, once again for listening to the Over Manga Cast. Merry Christmas and happy holidays and happy New Year to everybody. As always, remember to follow us on all of your social medias where we are at Over Manga Cast. Facebook, Instagram, I'd say Twitter, but apparently it's against TOS now to promote other social media platforms.
But hey, with the holiday season coming around, if you ever feel like dropping something in our stocking, we appreciate reviews of any and all forums on podcasters of your choice. Apple Podcasts is really nice. And you know what? I'll make an exception to my usual thing. 5 stars, please. We've been good this year. We don't deserve coal.
We have been. We've been good boys and girls this year.
Indeed.
But we could always not. And I want you to remember that. Maybe something might push us over the edge.
There's another part of our fandom that might actually prefer that, so watch out.
Look, we have threatened some very terrifying things in the past, and A couple of them we've gone through on, so you know we can.
The choice for evil lives within all of us.
You think I won't make 5 calls to jump Cody to make Cis Confidential a real thing? I'll do it.
No!
And remember to tune in next week, everybody, when we are going to be doing our best of 2022 to round out the year.
Indeed.
So, you don't have any reading homework. Congratulations, it's the holidays, and good night, everybody.
Good.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Wait, Sam, did you remember to move the elf on the shelf?
Did I? Oh my God, there it is!
Oh God! Wait, I didn't move mine either. Sam, I think they know.
They know?
It's been a pleasure podcasting with you guys.
It's new technology.
This is why I've always said, never trust an elf. Elf is burning out an open fire!